And he came back to this country, to his brother's house to sort out the estate. On his arrival, his brother gave him £300 and a gun. Gerald came into Derby, bought himself some ammunition and a ladies' company for the night. And they had a jolly good time. They breakfasted on 3 bottles of raw spirit and went back to her house, and he said to the madam in charge, "I'm taking to Ashbourne." One of the madams said, "Don't you think you've had enough to drink? Don't you think you should sleep it off?" Oh, he started trying to load his gun, showering bullets everywhere. And the madam said, "No, you've paid, take her, she's yours for the day. Bring her back 6 o'clock. They left and they got a handsome carriage, horse and cart. And they hired the horse and cart and were riding through the streets of Derby, absolutely blind drunk, and rather fast and rather dangerously. They were spotted by 2 police constables who pursued them on foot. One of them was Constable Moss. A 3rd constable spotted them and commandeered another handsome carriage and picked up Constable Moss, and they caught up with them and arrested Gerald Mannering and his female company. Took them to the lock-up yard, which is in the centre of Derby. It was a police station with lock-up cells where people were held prior to court. It was actually the 2nd jail in Derby. And the female was kicking up a fuss, spitting, screaming, scratching. So they decided to leave Gerald Mannering, who was quietly standing in a corner, very morose, doing nothing, and sort her out. Neither of the 2 people had been searched at this time. When the constables started sorting her out, trying to calm her down, trying to subdue her, grab her, Gerald Mannering got his gun out and a shot was fired. It wounded Constable Moss, and he died the following day in Derbyshire Royal Infirmary. Now, Gerald Mannering was actually tried and found guilty of murder and sentenced to hang. However, the jury, when they chose a foreman, the jury the foreman had been picked by straws because it was a hung jury, and the decision to actually sentence him to death was made by the foreman of the jury. Defence counsel got wind of it, and it was actually commuted to prison, life in prison. He served 14 years and was released. On his release, he went back to his brother's house. His brother said, "Sorry, you've ruined the family name, get out," and gave him enough money to leave the country. Nobody could understand why his brother gave him money that had got good in the first place. However, looking into it, it was his younger brother. And in them days, the oldest sibling got the estate and everything else. I think he thought that he'd get himself in trouble, get locked up, sully the family name so he could disown him and keep the estate that he'd built up, because his brother had gone swanning off to Australia and he'd helped work the estate. And the stone is there. There is a small plaque in Nottingham Road Cemetery in the ground marking the grave, but it was being vandalised, so it was brought out of harm's way. They're trying to make a display of it. We've got a little bit about Gerald Mannering, but we've got a lot more. We've even got his mugshot somewhere that we're going to put up there. I think there's a photograph of the lady that he was with as well, the lady of the night. Hopefully, in the next coming weeks, the 3rd board will be filled. Now, the first cell was actually a debtor's cell. Now, when you came in them days when you came to jail, the jailer wasn't given the job, they weren't appointed, they bought the job. So, me as jailer would have paid the Crown for the job. And the amount the Crown paid me was a pittance. So as such, they allowed me to charge everybody that came in 2 shillings and 6pence. And everybody that left 2 shillings and 6pence. So this poor gentleman, a Mr. I. Taylor from Measham, that was in for a £10 debt, he'd immediately got 5 shillings to add onto that, 2 and 6 to come in and 2 and 6 to leave. His staple diet was stale bread and water. If he wanted gruel and potatoes and anything to enable him to continue working, he paid me 6pence a week and I would feed him. Enough to be able to get up the energy to work. If he wanted meat, candles, ale, company of a female, paid me as a jailer and I would procure him whatever he wanted, within reason. After all, I wasn't going to procure him anything that was going to harm me now, was I? But they'd got weapons because all this graffiti is original. So somebody got something sharp scratched on the wall. You look at the doors and the care that's been taken, somebody got something sharp, so the jailer had to have his wits about him. He had to be a big, powerful, strong person who knew what he was doing. A lot of the debtors that came here weren't debtors that had money. The research we've been doing, thanks to Paul, we found out most of our debtors were actually here under what were called bastardy orders. They weren't paying maintenance for their children. The parish were having to pay it. The parish got fed up, so they locked the men up. Occasionally we got a few lewd and disorderly women who kept having children out of wedlock and wouldn't tell them who the fathers were. So we locked them up as well.